I am your host, FatDag. You're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 288 of WhysAdvice. And man, it's been a long time since we got together, and I just want to kind of take a moment and tell you what's been going on, what's been the delay, what's been the holdup, and there's a lot going on behind the scenes. If you can kind of tell, the screen looks different if you're watching it live. If you're listening to it, listening to the replay, you probably notice the sound sounds a heck of a lot better than it ever sounded. If you're watching it live in replay in YouTube or you're watching it in the app, you're going to notice some things. So I encourage you, if you're just listening, go ahead and get on the live show somewhere or a replay of the show so you can see exactly what all the changes have been and what's going on. But a couple quick updates before we get too far. Obviously, you know, I have upgraded a lot of things. One thing I didn't upgrade, the hair and makeup. So hair and makeup is just going to be a mess forever. I apologize for that, but that's just kind of how it goes. But the live show, for those of you listening to the podcast, the live show will always be on Facebook at this point. So get over to facebook.com/WhysAdvice and you can catch the live show. The cool thing is now, I now have a way to schedule it where I can say, hey, the live show's coming up in a week, and you can kind of like it and you can get an alert when that show goes live. So you know now from Facebook, hey, we're going to be live. But we're going to be live every Wednesday afternoon, 4 p.m. That's what we've locked into. And I'm going to kind of give you some of those details in a little bit. But in addition to that, though, if you're not in the private Facebook group, the Wise Wingman Facebook group, it's an amazing group of people. So get in there. That's just a great place to interact with each other and do that. But certainly you can always follow along on Twitter. Always follow. Make sure you follow the WhysAdvice handle. And, of course, FatDag as well. So that's kind of the big update. So the breaking news here is we've added a co-host to the show. And, you know, it was difficult because this is my baby, right? And so we built this together as a community. And I said, who would be a perfect person to bring in to the co-host? And, you know, I called Oprah and I left her a voicemail. And then at some point I decided that I probably left enough voicemail that it was probably starting to borderline stalkerish. And so Oprah she's not able to attend. But I found someone equally dynamic, as awesome. And I want to take a second to introduce this person to you. You probably already know who it is. And it's, you know, when I started this journey, here's some things. They go, you know, I told you guys all before, I was all alone, felt like I was by myself, and I had some amazing support. And that amazing support, though, didn't exactly fully understand the journey the way I did. However, the support was incredible. So what I thought made a lot of sense was to say, hey, we should bring in Janine. Janine should be the co-host, right? By all means. She knows more about me than anybody else. So welcome to the show, Janine. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Look at that. Is that not the coolest thing ever? So hopefully you guys, if you're out on listening to the show, you know, you're going to have to go see the video to check in on her. But so what she's going to be doing is during the live version of the show, she'll be interacting with us, and she'll let me know which comments need to come in and which comments need to go. But before we get into the show, a couple of last quick things. If you want to be on the show, so now we're going to record the show every Wednesday, 4 p.m. What that means to you is content. You know that this show is 100% user content driven. You don't write in, there's no email, there's no show. That's just kind of how it works. We do have the technology now to bring in some Skype calls or some Zoom calls. We have the technology to do all kinds of crazy things, but it all starts with you telling your story, sharing your journey so that we can kind of work this thing together. So email in onair@fatdag.com. My producers, Heather and Lisa, they will take your email, curate them, let you know what's going on behind the scenes, and they will certainly get you into and onto the show. If you're in the Indianapolis area, you know, all 18 million of you, come visit the show live. But let me know ahead of time so we can get you situated. But we have the opportunity for you to kind of watch the show live if you want. You know, keep in mind that there's only room for like a dozen of you, but it'll be kind of fun. But the other thing I'm looking for is lifetime members. If you're a lifetime member, you just hit lifetime, or you're celebrating a lifetime, email that in specifically because I want to do a special segment of the show at the end where we actually talk for like a couple minutes to a lifetime member and say, how'd you do it? What'd you do? What's your best motivation and or advice? Last but not least, in this segment, where will I be? So if you don't know already, I'm a WW coach out of Indianapolis on Sunday evenings at 7 p.m. in Carmel, Tuesdays at 6 p.m., Wednesdays 9:30 a.m., Thursday noon this week, and then 5:30 out in Plainfield. So certainly, get out to a in studio or to a studio to join a WW workshop as well. Later this year, I'm going to be out in Canton, Ohio, and then working at a speaking engagement here in Indianapolis where got all kinds of things going on. So that's what's going on. But before we get into the actual show, I've got to share the most amazing thing with you. So we're in this beautiful studio, and you guys can't see it. So I asked the folks here at Edge Media Studios, I'm like, can you help me out a little bit? Show me, run me a video or run me something where people can kind of know exactly what's happening. So what happened is I got, I'm doing the show from home. It's just me. And all of a sudden I'm like, I can't do it all. And so I came to Aaron at Edge Media Studios. I'm like, Aaron, help me out, man. And so we've been working behind the scenes tirelessly to put this thing together. And so I want to roll this clip, Jacob, roll it and show you exactly where we're at right now. If you're on the line, you're going to love this. Go ahead. How cool is that, right? So Aaron, tell us, welcome Aaron first to the show, but tell us what is Edge Media Studios and why did you bring in FatDag? What's going on?
I don't know how you got in here. I thought I had the door closed.
You should have. Usually, you do have a doorbell, but you answer it, so I don't understand how that works.
I know.
Yeah.
No, Edge Media is kind of a love child of our company, Site Strategics, and we're a digital marketing firm here in Indianapolis, Indiana. And we've been having our own podcast, developing our podcast for the last 8 years, which is Edge of the Web Radio. And we kept on trying to level up, just like you are right now, in terms of aesthetics and different deliveries of content. So we broadcast YouTube, we broadcast Facebook, live stream in a lot of different ways. Also use a lot of the other technology for marketing to be able to get content all over the place. So,
and you can take this studio anywhere.
Absolutely. The entire thing is remote. So we actually built this studio with this type of scenario in mind. Is everything's customizable, everything's brand oriented to you. So anybody in Indianapolis can come in and be able to sit in the space and be able to create this type of content and then roll with a lot of other things, digital wise after that. But we can actually go live and we can actually record trade shows, conferences, and live stream just like we're doing here.
So when I decide to take my show on the road again, you can come with me and we can do live streams from everywhere.
Well, get in your backpack and go.
I love it. Well, thank you for having us, folks. If you haven't already, like their Facebook page. Let them know that you're appreciative of them. You can kind of tell we've leveled up, right? You can tell. And so Aaron so graciously has brought us in for a little bit to say, hey, let's get this thing going. And so give them a big shout out and tell them thanks. And let's go ahead and roll into the show. This first email comes in out of Southborough, Mass. Comes from Candi. She says, hi, Mike. Hey, I'm writing to you for the third time today because I finally sat and wrote out my why, and I'm feeling really good about it. I've had the honor of having both of my other emails read on your show, and I hope that my continuing story will help someone else. You actually read my most recent email in episode 279. My other email was in episode 178. In that email, I told you how I was struggling, and there was a bit of a delay from when I sent that email to when it made it on the air. In the time in between, I had continued to slide up the scale. I have suffered from depression for a number of years, and I talk to a therapist frequently. She asked me how the weight loss is going, and I've told her how I'm struggling, and I told her that if I continue to struggle, I would get a coach through WW. Well, last month, she called me out on that because I was still having the troubles, but I had not signed up for a coach. I knew she was right, but I was nervous about it. I was nervous to fail. I decided that this was too important for me to let fear stop me from getting help. So I went onto the website. I updated my subscription from online only to online and coach. I had my first call with her last night. We talked about my journey, and she asked me about why I had joined WW to begin with. I went through my original why with her, part of which was acid reflux. She asked if the acid reflux had cleared up, and it has. Then she asked me, why did I want to lose more weight now? the thing I came up with where we're all just continuing to feel good, and I just don't want to do more things. Basically, I don't really have a why now. She said, well, this happens when we get beyond a large part of our weight loss journey. I know that I'm not as focused as I used to be. I give it into a lot more of my cravings these days. She said, sit down this week, really dig into your why. So I did. Why do I want to get down to 138 pounds and stay there? I want to feel good. I want to have energy to be active. I want to give my knees the best chance I can not to need knee replacements for as long as I can. I want to be able to walk my 5Ks and beat my personal record. I want to progress in my yoga practice. I want to be able to enjoy trips that I take with my husband. I want to feel confident in the way that I look. I want to no longer be classified as overweight. I want to be the best version of me. I'm so much more than what I have been. I don't need to be all the heavy girl with the self-esteem issues and the knee problems and the asthma. That is not me. I am the skinny girl who is active, does yoga, works out, walks 5Ks, exercises on vacation, and feels great about herself. I cannot express how good it feels to get this out. I cannot express how freeing it feels to have a reason for doing this. I'm going to make sure I have this up in places for me to see at home and on my phone. I'm going to do this, Mike. Thank you for everything that you do for all of us, Candi. Well, Candi, first and foremost, always when I get an email like this, I say congratulations, right? There's a point in this journey where we have the option. We come to a fork in the road, and option A is quit. Option B is to dig deeper and figure it out. So many times, the easy path of just giving it up and saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'll come back to it later, or if we even get to that point. And you didn't do that. And so as you've gone through here, that's the first thing that we get to the point we celebrate is that you decided that you were a fighter. You decided that yeah, you had a why, and that why you solved it. And so I'm a big believer that, I believe that when we figure out what our why is, that it generally doesn't change. However, there are times when there are some modifications to it, or we dig deeper into it, or we try and figure out where we actually right the first time we had it. And so when you said that, okay, sitting with your therapist and you said, I need some more support, I need a WW coach, you knew all along that maybe you needed an additional level of support. And then finally having an accountability partner calling you out on it and say, hey, here's that, did you sign up for that additional level of support that you thought you needed, and you went for it? And I think that's one of the amazing things is that the strength that comes from someone saying, help, I need some help. I can't do this alone. And for the longest time, I didn't believe that was actually labeled as strength. I felt that asking for help was a sign of weakness. If I was strong, I would be able to do it myself. If I'm weak, I need someone to help me. And the actually complete opposite is true. If you think you can do it by yourself, you're not thinking big enough. You need to get to the point where you have other people on this journey helping you and modifying and working with you to say, hey, what can we do to get you in the right spot? So when you sit there and say, okay, I wanted to lose weight to clear up my acid reflux, and that happened, and you cleared it up. And now what the thing is, you say, okay, I want to fight to preserve that. In your long list of things, I want to feel good. I want to have energy to be active. I want to give my knees the best chance I can so I don't have to have knee replacement. What I want you to do with that list, and you said you're going to write it down, is I want you to take that list and make sure that it truly is available. If you have to, take each one of those and put it as a reminder in your phone and set one up as a calendar reminder that reminds yourself every 45 days and it pops up as a daily reminder. I want those things to always be at the forefront of your mind. I want you to be proud and scream it like you did in the email. I am the skinny girl who is active, does yoga, works out, walks 5Ks, whatever it is you want to do. When you say I am, your body works really hard to prove you're right in that. So begin every sentence with I am, and then follow it up with something super duper powerful. So take this list, and I want you to think of now, okay, when I'm going out with friends, the phone rings, hey, Candi, do you want to go out this weekend? I want you to balance that with, am I the person who does that, or am I the person who wants to do this? Is this more important than the bigger goals that I have for myself? Sometimes it may be, and that's completely okay. But there are times when we just get into our routine and our habit, and all of a sudden we're just back into our old ways. if you want to completely change your life, you've actually got to completely change your life. So that means things that you're doing habitually, things that you're just doing kind of on autopilot, you got to kind of reassess and go, okay, I know I always do this, but is this going to support the goal I have of wanting to feel good? Is this actually going to support the goal I have of want to be confident in the way that I look? Does going out to dinner tomorrow give me the best version of me? Only you can make that decision. It's up for you to make that decision, up for you to figure it out. But the coolest thing ever is that you can, because you took the very first most important step, and that is asking for someone else to help. You've written into the show a couple times. You've continued to share. So you are a fighter in the truest sense of the word, where you're like, I am doing this. I know you're going to do it. I'm confident that you're going to do it. And it's truly an honor to walk with you as we do it. So Candi, thanks for your email. Janine, what do we have from Facebook? Did anything come in there that resonates quite a bit?
Lots of great tips. Kathy said that the most important thing is to just keep plugging away and to remember that you're worth it. Progress, not perfection. And I think that's huge. I think that was big for you, is that you have to keep making progress and not worry about every day being perfect, and to keep moving forward and not let one day derail the plan. Gwendolyn said something along the same lines when she said even when she lost her way, she never went all the way back to where she started. So you have to remember that you don't need to be perfect.
Right. I ask everyone all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do when we get into the when we get into the workshop. I ask people when I hand them any sort of charm, whether a lifetime charm or a 10-pound charm or even a 5-pound charm. I say, were you perfect from the day you signed up to today, and you've lost, let's just say 5 pounds, let's say 10 pounds. Were you 100% perfect along the way? And I've yet to have anyone honestly answer, yeah, I was completely perfect. And what that means to me is that you're allowed to be a little imperfect as long as you just don't quit and don't give up. So cool. Anything else you got?
Tracy's tidbit for today was to use the tools, any tools you have available. It doesn't have to be, exercise equipment or a gym or a big, huge group of people, just whatever you have available today.
Yep. Start where you are now.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. So very cool. So one of the things that keeps this thing going, you guys, of course, we're live on Facebook. You know that. And this will be replayed on YouTube. But here's where I need your help. I need you guys to share this, right? So we're in this beautiful studio. Everything's fantastic. But as you could probably guess, it comes at a price tag, right? And so what I need to do is if you could do me the biggest favor, go out and make sure that you're sharing the podcast with other people. You're on Facebook. You go to the fatdag.com website. You click on the Instagram channel. You click on the YouTube channel. And everywhere you can, please like and subscribe and do your best to share it, so that what happens, this community grows. And so here we are, live streaming this. About 180 people are watching, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But there's no reason why thousands of people right now can't go, okay, this is the support I needed in the middle of my week and then on my journey. And it's kind of like a workshop in your pocket. So get out there on that. For sure, get into all the groups, facebook.com/WhysAdvice. Twitter.com/WhysAdvice, and of course, same thing on Instagram. So give me a shout out on there. Tell me you watched the live show. I want to hear from you. Tell me you watched the replay. Let me know what you think from that. So thank you very much. A second email for this show comes in out of Cleveland, Ohio. Hildy writes in. She says, "Dear Mike, I write this as something of an update of where I'm at, and I have a new why. Over the past year or so, I've seen my weight increase as I've upped my activity level and I put on some muscle. I get weighed and measured at the gym and at the beginning of each month, and I've seen an improvement in my measurement, so I try not to let the few extra pounds get to me. I know that the scale isn't the only measure of success, and I know that I'm doing everything right. I track everything I put in my mouth. I drink the water. I'm exercising 6 days a week, but I still have those moments of feeling like I am falling off the WW wagon, even though I'm steering correctly. I do weigh in at every WW meeting every month, and I maintain my lifetime status, even though I've changed the goal weight and increased it by 4 pounds. Again, the numbers are higher than I'd like to weigh, but it seems like my body has embraced this new stage. I run 3 times a week. I circuit train with a trainer 2 days a week. I'm currently training for an indoor triathlon. I only took up swimming as a form of non-impact exercise 2 years ago after not having entered a pool, let alone wearing a bathing suit in public. I'm doing this for the experience and not to compete for a certain time or a place or a finish. Like the Spartan race I did 3 months ago, I'm setting a goal that takes me out of my comfort zone, something I never thought possible, and I'm working to get it done. I started writing a blog about my fitness journey, and even though it's read by a handful of friends and family members, I enjoy sharing this part of my life. I've had many whys since I started my WW journey in 2007. It used to be about weighing a certain number or wearing a certain size for a certain event. These days, though, I have 2 whys. My first why is being the very best healthy wife, mom, and grandmother. Yes, I'm going to be a grandmother to twins in April, and I want to be around for many years to come. I want to be a role model of eating healthy and being active, and I can't wait to go shopping for a jogging double stroller. My second why is changing the path of my family's health history. My paternal grandfather died of a massive heart attack in his 60s as a result of most likely of unhealthy eating habits and a lack of exercise. My father, once a very tall, slim, active man, now weighs over 300 pounds, and he's going through health issues involving his heart. I've tried over the years to gently and not so gently talk to him about changing his ways and developing a healthier lifestyle, but he didn't want to change. Even knowing he has great grandchildren on the way doesn't deter him from his unhealthy eating and sedentary lifestyle. He's a ticking time bomb, as his doctor says, but neither of those words, nor my words, nor anything else will make him wake up and realize the time is now. I was 40 when I had my aha moment, and he's now 83. I can't fix my dad, but I'll do whatever I need to make sure I am the best version of me when I'm 83. Hildy. Hildy, that's a tough one, right? And so certainly my heart goes out to you and your entire family and your dad, but we have to know something about this journey. And the thing that we know is that you've had your aha moment when you're 40. It's not something that you can give to somebody. It's not something you can't shame somebody into it. The internet is full of opportunities for people to fat shame each other, hoping that that's suddenly going to motivate them to lose weight. You can't guilt them into it. The only thing you can do is live the best version of yourself. Hashtag be the prize. Live the best version of yourself so that people look at you and go, hey, I want some of that. And I want to be healthy too. That looks like fun, running in a triathlon, competing in a triathlon, training indoors. That looks like that would be neat. And other people get jealous of your action and say, man, I wish I could do what Hildy's doing. And then they come to you and say, well, how are you doing it? And you slowly reach back to help somebody else. But you can only reach back when they reach to you and say, hey, I'm looking for some help. So when I read your email the first time, the first thing I underlined was this paragraph here said, I run 3 times a week, circuit train with a trainer 2 days a week. I'm currently training for an indoor triathlon. Amazing. Right? Think of when you started this journey, was that even on your radar? Chances are no. And so you have completely changed your life. And so now what happens is you have given the gift of that to the family members who are with you, who want to now see that and are going to motivate themselves to take action. When you buy the double stroller and you go out running with that thing, there are going to be people watching you going, hey, I want to do that as well. And so that is what you've given to your family. I love that you started a blog, right? That's how this whole podcast thing started, was me going, hey, I have a story to tell. I want to share it. And at some point we realize that this becomes bigger than just us. It's not just our little story. It's us looking at other people going, hey, there is a better life out there, and it's up to you to go after it and doing it. And doing it for the right reasons. I love how you share that you're doing this for the life experience, not to compete for a certain time or a place or a finish. That is incredibly valuable because that's what's going to make it stick. So many times when it comes to activity, we can compete in something for a limited period of time, and then all of a sudden that event comes, and next thing we know, we're like, okay, I did it, I'm out. And then we don't have a game plan to go from there to the next new thing, and if we don't do that, then all of a sudden, boom, we're back to where we started, and that's never really the recipe for success. So what I caution you and encourage you now at this point is exactly like you said, is you can't fix your dad. But you can love on him. You can share with him the things that you are doing, and you can continue to just tell him what you're doing to be active. And sometimes we get defensive when people kind of point us out and say, hey, you should do this. It's sometimes we just don't do it just out of spite. So keep up the amazing work, and I think he'll come around. I think he's going to finally see the joy in life, because that's what it's all about. But having 2 of these completing whys is what's going to get you to continue running your triathlons. And you're right, we're going to have many whys or many iterations of your why as you go through. So, Hildy, thanks for your email. Janine, what did you find on the web? What did Facebook say?
Well, Susan's making all of us jealous because she's telling us how she's watching the show while she's packing for her Caribbean cruise. But she brought up a really important point about that she's mixing fun with her responsible behavior. Instead of just, making this I have to lose weight, I have to keep track of my points, I have to do this, she's making it fun. And I think that's really important. And we talked about that when you first started your journey, is that, your exercise shouldn't be a punishment for what you did, but a celebration of what you can do now.
Yeah.
And just enjoying every part of the journey and seeing it as a celebration instead of beating yourself up for everything that has happened in the past.
I said this today in my workshop. It was kind of funny. It just kind of came to me is like, the analogy. If I said everyone right now listening, if you what I want you to do tomorrow is go out and get 15,000 steps, right? If you're able, right? And so first of all, the first thing we hear is, that's such a daunting challenge. But if I flipped it around and said, hey, tomorrow everybody, the bus leaves tomorrow morning, and we're going to be on an airplane, we're going to go to Disney for the day, we're going to fly back on my private jet. Every one of you would be on the jet and we'd go get 15,000 steps and no one would complain about it. So it's just a matter of, are you getting steps because it's a chore, or are you getting steps because it's fun? So find a way to keep it fun and exciting, keeps you going. So
Absolutely. Christina and Laura said that they're listening while they're on their bike and their treadmill, so they're using it as a double dose of inspiration, getting to listen to you while they're doing their workout.
Fantastic.
Filling their body with good stuff.
That's fantastic. So very cool. So Hildy, see what you did. You inspired thousands of people to go ahead and take charge. So I tell you, when I first started this journey, I felt like I was all alone. I kept seeing signs of support here and there, but I never felt like anyone understood the unique challenges that I saw that were in front of me. It wasn't long into the journey before I found a wingman. The community of wingmen, they're here. We support each other, and we really show us that anything is possible. But, of course, the internet is a really big place. At times it feels all alone and it feels really lonely. So I built private communities to help it feel really smaller and a little more personal. Inside the Patreon community specifically, we get together once a week for a chat, and we just kind of type back and forth as, what are you thinking? What are you feeling? We check in with each other. We keep each other accountable. We motivate each other. We inspire each other. We just get it. If you're feeling lost, looking for a smaller community, simply log on to patreon.com/FatDag and sign up today. Next email comes in here out of Jessica writes in, and she says, well, hi, FatDag. Hey, I don't expect a reply. I just need a little venting session. I've been close to quitting WW and thinking to myself, well, maybe I'll try keto. Maybe I'll go vegan. Maybe I'm just happy the way I am. All of that is false. They're all unhealthy options for me. I know I'm not happy with myself physically. I know those diets work for many. However, those thoughts of trying extreme diet, they're red flags for me and going really into a dark place mentally. I finally took the leap and I filled out the workbook that you sent a while back. As I was filling it out, I realized how much strength I really did carry within myself. I'm 27 and I cannot remember a time that I did not struggle with my body image. I remember being in elementary school and comparing my thighs to a much thinner girl. I remember begging and crying to my mom to not let me go to school that day because how much I hated my body and how fat I felt. I remember being in high school and taking too many diet pills, which physically made me sick. I remember not eating for days or eating as little as possible, hoping that I would lose some weight. This was all alongside of being in a mentally, physically, and sexually abusive relationship with someone who fed into those thoughts. I was a very weak young woman, and he made me even weaker. At 24 years old, I finally was able to leave and barely pull myself up by the bootstraps. 7 years of relationship abuse mixed with a lifetime of self-abuse and self-hatred created a woman I didn't know how to love. In the past 3 years since then, I was able to lose 25 pounds on WW, almost getting to goal, finish my master's degree, promote within my wonderful government job, and finally learn how strong of a woman I can be. I'm in a wonderful relationship with a man who loves me wholly and completely, and a dog that I couldn't imagine my life without. It's a daily struggle within my life and my relationships to know what self-love is, and there are days I'm still crying on the bathroom floor thinking the old self-abusive thoughts that I used to think. However, I know how strong I am, and I am slowly becoming the woman I know I can be. Since getting into this new relationship, I put on about 10 to 15 pounds. Call it love, call it one too many nights getting takeout or cuddling on the couch, but I'm about 30 pounds away from the number at which I really want to be. I know the weight gain is still manageable, and after filling out your workbook, I realize I can do this. I'm capable. I have it within myself, and I have the resources. The mental battles will always be much harder than the physical, and thankfully, I've proven that I've slowly overcome both. Thank you for shining a light on the struggles that so many face. I've come to love the community WW provides, and I'm thankful for stumbling across your platform, which has proven to be of such value to me on the days when I think getting to goal is impossible. Keep doing what you're doing. Jessica, wow, you are incredibly strong. And so I love how your email transcends from how you started in life and to boom, all the amazing things that you've accomplished. And that's why we developed the workbook, really, is it's the 5 questions of how to find your why. And as we go through them, it's really important for us to kind of peel back that onion, and more importantly, sit alone with a pen and piece of paper and kind of get some of those thoughts out of your head. One of the questions I ask all the time is that, think of the most miserable thing you've ever been through, the hardest thing you've ever had to do in your life. Think of that. And when you think about the most difficult thing you've ever done in your life, and then you pause and go, but I'm still here. And the fact that you're still here tells me that the most difficult thing in your life that you've done, you have found the strength to get past. And you continue to thrive. And you clearly have done that, and your story clearly indicates that. And so when you go all the way back to the beginning and, the years of elementary school and, high school shame, boy, would it be a great society if we could kind of eradicate that completely and, certainly stay off Twitter if that is, because it's all over the place there. But we're not going to cure it. But what we can do is we can say, you know what, we can ignore things that don't matter. We can push things aside that don't matter. And we can say, you know what, I'm focusing on me. I'm focusing on the things that I know that I need to do. And I can get this done if I just take the time to get the negative thoughts out of my head and move forward. You even open your email with, I don't expect a reply. And so, sure, I get a boatload of email. And so my intent and love would always be to make sure that every single comment, every single post, every single email was commented, liked, and replied to. But the reality is I just can't. But what's really fun is when I get the opportunity to reach out and do that, it really has an impact on me and on you. And you've taken the strength you have and make sure that you share that with the world as well. Going back also to the beginning, you say, you want to try all the keto and maybe vegan and whatever else is out there. You know the deal. Every single diet plan out there works. Every single one. It doesn't matter. What the common denominator is the person doing it. If you think about every single program out there, the founder had success on it, otherwise they wouldn't have been able to create it. And then they had to convince somebody else to try it, or else that's how they kind of gain momentum. So every single program out there works. The trick is you have to find one that you're willing to work, that you're willing to put in the effort for, that you're willing to completely change your life for, that you can live with long term. That's where we find true success. I think so many times what happens is we do WW, we find success in it, and then all of a sudden we get towards the end, we get close to goal or something happens, and in your case, an amazing husband jumps into your world, amazing man jumps into your world, and you have some cuddling time on the couch, you have some dinners out, and so your lifestyle adjusts. And so as your lifestyle adjusts, you go, okay, I want to get back to where I was, but we forget maybe we've kind of let some of our old habits creep back in, and so then we go searching for something new. Stick with what works. What the success you had early on clearly was because you got dialed in, you got focused, and you have the capability to bring that level back to say, okay, I can do this. The 25 pounds is not easy. If you've lost 25 pounds, you can lose whatever you want to do because that is true discipline and dedication moving the needle. You've done it through many weekends. You've had to get through some holidays. You have made choices that are aligned with your new lifestyle. And so continue to drive and dig onto that level of success and that level of strength saying, hey, I can do hard things. I can do whatever you throw at me, I can get done. And I really want you to kind of understand that, don't beat yourself up over gaining a couple pounds back because you found a new relationship. What an amazing man that's come into your life. And so you need to then go, okay, this is here for a reason. And now the two of you together figure out a game plan to be more active, to do other fun things. And then you get back into your routine to where you want to be. But this should not be any sort of, should not be any shame in that whatsoever, because at times we're going to have goals that completely conflict with one another. You could have a weight loss goal here and a marriage goal here, and they may not have the same outcome. In order for me to stay happily married, I have to go out to eat on occasion. And Janine gets to pick. So there are times when you just kind of do that because that's what makes sense for a different goal in your life. So keep up the great work. It's an honor to walk this journey with you. And so thank you for writing in and sharing your email, because you have given strength to somebody else right now who's reading or listening and says, you know what, if Jessica can do it, I can do it. So Jessica, thanks for writing in. And Janine, what do you got?
I have to say, I love this community. I'm watching these comments and I'm just feeling inspired by everything that everyone's saying. They rally around everybody with a big warm hug, and they're ready to just lift up anybody who needs it. We had a lot of great things going. Lindsay said it's important to remember to show up for yourself and never quit.
Yep.
Diane, who, has been at Lifetime for 2 years this March, so she's got a little bit of experience with this. She said things are going to happen along the journey. Just enjoy it. Same things happened to her along her journey. And Julie, who we haven't seen in quite a long time, but up in Michigan, our friend Julie, said quitting only gives you a new start date and the scale is only data, which I think she may have heard from you once or twice. And everybody's just rallying around the importance of the tribe, the wingman, the Discord chat, just being in Facebook, just connecting with people who get your journey like you had to do. Because as helpful as I tried to be, I don't fully understand this journey.
Right.
I don't understand the ins and outs of it.
No, but you're incredibly powerful and successful in your own right. So, you're right. That's what's cool about this community, and that's what really changed my life, and that's what inspires me to dig deeper and deeper and harder to make sure that we're in a beautiful studio, we're stepping it up, is because I know that this message needs to get out there, and I know that this community is capable of delivering it. You can spend all day on the internet, and you can find every single troll out there, but they're not here. And we kind of somehow, the love is kind of like when you plant a beautiful garden, all the beautiful flowers keep the weeds out. And that's what we're kind of doing as your amazing hearts are keeping it going. So thank you for that. And I want to share one of the tools that I think has been most successful for me. And so certainly when it comes to healthy, there's so many tools out there, right? It's important to find the one that you really will use more often. If you've ever listened to the show before, you've heard me talk about Withings, right? With a long time ago, one of my first attempts to lose weight, I found a digital scale that would actually sync up with a smartphone. Before this, I had to write the numbers on my bathroom mirror, and after about a few weeks, Janine would walk in and she would erase them, and I'd have to start over. So I never really got an understanding of the big picture and the trend line. So as technology started making every device in our lives smarter, it was a natural fit for me to embrace a smarter scale. The Withings Smart Scale, it sends data directly to your phone. It's saved in the HealthMate app. This makes it easy to review the trend lines and get a much bigger, better picture of your progress. Withings also makes smartwatches. They actually look like a watch. So it discreetly tracks your steps, so you're not sitting there screaming around, running around with a step tracker on your wrist. And you can sync all of this data up with your WW app. And so it truly is one of my favorite companies. I want you to get out there and check them out. Visit it's http://dag.fyi/Withings20. That's WITHINGS 20. So dag.fyi/Withings20. Enter promo code DAG20. It'll save you 20% on a $99 purchase or more. So Withings, thank you for always being in my corner as well. Next email comes in out of Newark, Delaware. It's the last email of this show. Tracy writes in and says, "Hello, Wingman. While listening to a recent podcast and hearing those infamous words, and what is it that you're celebrating? A little light bulb went off in my head. Then I realized that I recently hit the 6-month mark for being on Lifetime. I can't believe the time has gone by so quickly. I recently read through the Met booklet and realized some things. Like so many, my why has changed as I have progressed. When I began this journey, my why was because I was fed up with looking in the mirror, so unhappy and depressed about my appearance. I had no energy. I was disgusted with myself. Me? Why now? My why now? To be healthy, mentally and physically. To like the mirror more. I want more confidence. I want to be stronger and I want to be happier. I want nicer clothes. I want to feel proud of myself. I want to be here for those grandbabies that I'm waiting for. Do I believe I can do this? At first, it was questionable. When I walked into WW, it was an incredibly overwhelming feeling. To look at how much weight I had to lose overall, it made me think of climbing Mount Everest. I'll never get to the top. There's no way I can lose 100 pounds. Well, I did. I broke it down in 5-pound increments and it added up. So yes, I did it. And I do plan to continue to do it. I thought about how I've changed over the course of this journey, the things I do now that I did not do before. I track as best as I can on vacation and workation. When we travel, I try to have 0 point or low point foods in the car. We have an owner's closet at our cabin. I've stocked it with items which help me during our stays. A scale for me, a scale for my food. It weighs and weights and bands, workout DVDs, exercise clothes. I'm also learning how to use the smart TV, which is way smarter than me. I find workouts that I can do while I'm there. At home, I'm fortunate enough to have one of our older son's friends as a personal trainer. Our older son and I share a weight set, and we have 2 treadmills, one upstairs and one downstairs. And believe it or not, they both get used. They have friends who make sure I go to the Y for our water aerobics. They know where I live, so if I'm not there, I have no doubt they'll be knocking on my door. This sounds odd, but so far I've found my lifetime range has been easier than losing weight. I believe it's because I was always disappointed if I didn't lose weight. The whole point was to lose weight. I've done pretty well at maintaining. My goal is to be able to weigh in the first Saturday of every month within my lifetime range. I don't want to feel like I can't go to a meeting because I'm out of range. And I'm frugal, so I don't want to pay the fee. That's a pretty good incentive to stay within the range. So I still go to meetings every week at 7 a.m., and I've been going for 7 years. Why stop now? I enjoy the people, and I love my coaches and guides. Right now, the Blue Plan is working for me. So thank you again to all the wingmen who have offered support and encouragement during this journey. Thanks, Mike, for creating this group so we have another tool to help us get to our goals. I am celebrating 6 months plus of lifetime. Would love to hear what you all are celebrating. Tracy. Tracy, congratulations. What an amazing story. I remember, and I hope you do as well, I remember the first time you and I met. We were was just outside of Philadelphia, right? We were there for the 5K. And you went to a meeting in the morning, and then you came and did the 5K with us, and that was the meeting where you got your 100-pound charm. I remember that. And we've stayed connected ever since then, and I've seen you more. You come to Indianapolis a couple times. It's been an amazing journey, and I could not be more proud of you. Congratulations on 100 pounds. 100 pounds that's significant. You can't do that on accident. There's no way that's going to happen accidentally. That's you deliberately dialed in, getting focused, saying, I want to change my life. The beautiful thing in your email is you can tell as you read through it, you did change your life. You're doing things now that you may not have ever thought about doing. And now all of a sudden it just happens to happen naturally. And so what I want you to do is kind of every once in a while, take an inventory of these little things that you're doing now that maybe you didn't do before and go, yeah, I'm doing this. And then write it down and celebrate that. Because it's a big deal sometimes when we do things that our old version of ourselves never would have done. In fact, the old version of ourselves may have looked at us and laughed if we even thought about doing some of the stuff we do now. And so that's where the journey really evolves, is that when you get to the point in your journey where you're happy with your weight, you're happy with your health, but now what's happening is life becomes natural for you. You hop on a car ride, you instantly decide you're going to pack some snacks. And so little things, setting yourself up for success long term is where you're really able to get it done. I think one of the bigger things in your plan here is that, I still go to meetings every week at 7 a.m. and I've been going for 7 years. Why stop now, right? I tell people all the time, put this in your calendar, make it a non-negotiable appointment. If you don't put it in your calendar, you have to rely on your memory to say, hey, I'm supposed to go to my workshop at 7 a.m. You can't get to a 7 a.m. workshop accidentally, let me just tell you. You have to very deliberately get there. In fact, to get to a Saturday morning workshop, you have to make that decision Friday night. You can't wake up Saturday morning and say, I guess I'll go now, because by the time you wake up, it's too late. So you have gotten this in your calendar, you've gotten ingrained into your life where this is what I am going to do, and look at the results that you've gotten as a result. Congratulations on that. So again, put things in your calendar and don't move them. They're non-negotiable. When someone calls and say, hey, you want to go out this Saturday morning? Say, well, I can't because I have to go to this workshop first, but afterwards I can, just like you did when we met the first time in Pennsylvania. So Tracy, thank you. Congratulations to you. Tell your husband I said hello. What a great guy he is as well. Amazing support on your journey. So shout out to you, Mike, as well. So Janine, what do you have? What did I miss?
It was very funny, actually. Tracy came on and said, hey, that's me. I had no idea. So it was a surprise for her. She was joining us live today that you were reading her email, which I just love. Tracy, I was so honored to meet you and your husband when you were here in Indianapolis. We got to walk quite a bit of the race together and had such a great time during the Indy Ultimate. And I think it's really important to have people like you here and in our group inspiring others, because it's so important for us to be surrounded by people who inspire us and who uplift us and who can share the good, the bad, and the ugly of this journey, because it's not always perfect and pretty. And Tracy is a great example of that. She shows people every day that she shows up, whether it's good, whether it's not, and she keeps going. And even on the hard days, she has only positive things to share with others. And I think that's really says a lot about who she is.
It absolutely does. And so I started a 5 a.m. club group. I started that years ago, and so I've kind of re-energized that back. And what I've added to do is that every week, if you go to fatdag.com, click on the subscribe to the email list, you're going to get an email from me on Sunday. It's going to tell you what the schedule is for the week. It's going to tell you when I'm going to do the podcast. It's going to tell you what's going on. You're going to get a copy of the workbook as well, the workbook that we've referenced a couple of times in the show. But Tracy has joined us in the 5 a.m. club a couple of times in the morning. And so what I do a Zoom call. And so I pull up my iPad, I put it in front of my treadmill, I work out in the morning, and 3 or 4 or 5 of you, whoever it is, join us in. So get onto fatdag.com, click on your email, get that coming in, get the free workbook, fill it out, answer the 5 questions, and walk through that. And then, of course, join us in the 5 a.m. club. So anything else you have?
Karen, who is watching us all the way from Greece, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Just said celebrating every single step on the way.
Yeah, I love that. So when so one of the things I didn't say at the beginning of the show is when we decided we were going to move the show to the studio, it wasn't exactly the first choice for them was not 10 p.m. right, and so this was their full-time job. They work out of here. So when I said, hey, we should record the show at 10 p.m., they kind of looked at me like I had 4 heads, and they said, how's 4 sound? And I said, well, it's about 6 hours difference. And so it was a big adjustment to go from 10 p.m. to 4 p.m. And so knowing that so many people now who used to join at 10 p.m. just simply can't make it at 4. But what was interesting is Karen was one of the few that said, oh, my God, I'm in Greece. I have no real support. Now I can tune into the show. So we moved the show specifically so that Karen could be here. So apparently the folks here at Edge Media Studios, they probably knew that. They were probably stalking me, and they said, well, let's make Karen happy and move it to 4 p.m. So very cool. The game plan is we're going to keep doing this at 4 p.m. every single week. The studio time is booked. The reservation is booked. So you can start banking on it, counting on it. But you've got to get in there and like, share, subscribe. Let people know that this is an additional tool to help them on their journey. So closing remarks, anything? What do you got?
Just so excited to be here with everybody. It was the longest interview process of my life, 29-year-long interview.
You passed.
To be here, I had to know how many different ways to make chicken and how not to serve broccoli. But I think I made it through to the final cut, and I'm just thankful to be here with everybody.
Awesome. We're honored to have you. Truly, it was my first choice. You've been my first choice on a lot of things in life, and so this is no different as well. So thank you for adding a different level to the show and bringing in what really matters, and that's people being together and getting it done and celebrating all the amazing accomplishments we're doing together. I always ask at the end of each show, what is it that you're celebrating? It's important to understand that this journey is full of traps, and it's full of pitfalls. And if you spent your entire time looking for all the things that were going wrong, you would continue to look for them. Instead, I want to ask you, what is it that you're celebrating? Find the things that are going right, and let's hear it. Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the WhysAdvice podcast, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. We'll work them in as part of the show. I really want you to email in your celebrations because I want you to be proud of what you're doing. When you're proud of what you're doing, you continue to do it. You show it off, other people notice, and that's how we get it all done. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. On behalf of my co-producers, Lisa and Heather, and Jacob in the booth and the entire Edge Media Studio teams, we wish you good focus.